So, like most people in the UK, I don't use my garage to store the car. In actual fact, I use it as a gym, a workshop, and a place to store tools and equipment. And over the last few months, I've got more tools and equipment than most people. Now, in this area, there's been a real increase in burglaries and thefts. So I've teamed up with Latham's high security steel doors to turn this garage into a fortress by fitting this high security steel door that even Eddie Hall the Beast can't get through. So the first thing you're going to need to do is to remove your old door and frame, and that's a really straightforward process. If you come to the door and look at the hinges, I would suggest removing the door from the frame first, and that's just these fixings on the hinges. Release them, and then that will allow you to remove the door. Once you've got the door out of the way, you can then have a look along your frame and you'll see that they've got these fixings, and they just unscrew, and that will release your frame from the brickwork. This video is a collaboration with Latham's steel security doors. I gave them the specification that I wanted, the measurements, the type of door and the finish, and this is what they've supplied: a high security steel door with a multiple locking system. Now, what makes these doors unique is that close up you can tell they're steel, but from a distance they look no different to composite doors. So with the door itself, you do get everything you need to fit it. You get fixing kits, including some adjustable cams that we'll come to in a bit. You get all different manner of fixings, some silicone, and even a drill bit to drill the holes. The other thing you get is a set of handles of your choice, and most importantly, a high secure 3-star rated lock. So this sill is an optional extra, and it comes with 2 end caps. So all you need to do is measure the gap, like you can see I've done, and then take off 4mm, 2mm per end cap. You can then cut the sill down, and now you can just install the end caps. And now that is ready to fit. To fix the sill to the threshold, you can just use the silicone that's provided. However, this is going to be a high area of traffic, and there's going to be bikes and all sorts going over this. So not only am I going to fix it with silicone, I'm also going to mechanically fix it with some screws. So I've piloted the step already. The next thing I'm going to do is get this. This is a marker, and it fires chalk straight through the hole onto the threshold underneath. So now I'm going to apply some CT1 black sealant across the front edge and across the middle. I'm going to do it nice and thick, and then when we screw this sill down, it will provide a adhesive fixing as well as the mechanical fixing. The next thing is to ensure that the sill is level side to side, and you can just place your level on and ensure that is. Now, the next thing is I'm going to screw these in by hand, and the reason for that is I don't want to over tighten anything. And really, you could use a battery drill, but I think by doing this, you can prevent any warping of the sill itself. This frame has a possible 20 fixing points because it's one of their most secure doors that Latham's do. Now, these are adjustable cams, and they screw into the frame. And what that allows to happen is, once they're in, you can then use them to adjust the frame to suit the opening. Once the lugs are in place, if you've got a tight fitting frame, the frame can be fitted into your doorway. However, if you've got a bit of space, Latham's also supply these frame extenders. They just slot over the end, and they can extend the frame by up to 40mm. And they just slot over, and once they're in place, you can widen the cams, and that will sit tight into the wall. So the problem with these extenders is that when you try and lift it up, everything moves, and getting into the opening is quite difficult. So if you get yourself some tape, I've just got some masking tape, and if you just go around the frame in a few places, you can then hold that into position until you've got the frame in place. Lift the frame into the opening, Now adjust as required. Using a spirit level, ensure the frame is plumb and level, and adjust the cams as required. So once the frame is in and it's level and plumb, you can then look at actually fixing it into position. So through the cams themselves, they have a hole in the centre, and Latham supply you with the fixings. All you need to do is get their 8mm drill bit that they supply, drill through the hole in the cam, and then you knock the plug straight through that into the wall and then tighten it up. That expands and gives you a really strong fixing. Now, like I said, this frame can have 20 fixings. However, I'm only going to use 5 each side, so 10 in total, and that will be plenty to hold it into position. So that is the hinge side all fixed. I've got all 5 fixings in, and that is nice and plumb and level. So before I fix this side, I'm just going to put 1 fixing in the bottom, and that'll just hold the frame into position. The next thing will be to hang the door, and then when we shut the door, we'll be able to adjust this side of the frame to suit the door, and then we'll be able to fix it into position. Now this is the hardest part of the job, and that is installing the door back onto the frame. Now Latham supply you with a windbag. I've got 2 because I think it'll make the job easier. What you need to do is pump these up until you get the hinges about lined up with the door. Once they're lined up with the door and you can put them into place, you can then put a couple of fixings per hinge. Once you're happy with the door, you can then add the remaining fixings. Have you subscribed to my channel? Well, if not, why not? There is over 80 different DIY videos on my channel, all designed for you, the viewer, to save you some money. So head over, look through the different playlists, because I'm sure there'll be something for you. Now, if you're interested in getting one of these high security doors, whether it be for a garage or for a front door, then Latham's is for you. Head over to their website. I've put a link below, and they have some really good deals on. So hopefully that will help you out. At the heart of this 14-point locking system is the Euro cylinder. And on normal doors, this is the weakest point of the door. And normally criminals break this lock, put something into it, turn it and open the door. However, Latham's have even thought of that. So this particular Euro cylinder is a 3-star diamond rated kite marked lock, which is sold secure. And that basically means that if you try and break it, this section will snap off, then this section, and it will remain locked. Not only that, as you can see on the screen, it comes with a cover which gives more mechanical protection to this cylinder. To install the cylinder, you can see that there's a nib that sticks out. If you turn the key until that sits flush with the Euro cylinder, you can then insert that into the door itself. And now you can fix it into position with a machine screw supplied. And now we can install the mechanical protection for the Euro cylinder. And to do that, you just put that over one side and then put the 2 spacers over the other side of the lock. And then using these long machine screws, you can put them through and screw them into the front protection. So to install the handles come with gaskets. You just line that over the handle itself. Now they don't clip on, they just rest on. So it can be a little bit fiddly when you come to put it on the door. Get the spindle, push into the handle itself, and then you can line that up on the door. So this is the fiddly part of the handle, and you've got to get this bit to operate that. That slides in that hole there, and then locate that on the handle at the same time. And now you can just finish the handle off by screwing in these machine screws. Before you close the door, you need to test that the locking system works. So the first thing is to turn the thumb screw at the back, and then that will operate this privacy bolt. The next thing is to turn the key 1 turn, and that should shoot out all the bolts around the door, 3 at the bottom, 3 at the top, and then the rest down this side. And then if you turn it another turn, they will then shoot out to the final locking position. So once you've function tested the door and make sure that it opens and closes, you can then check for plumb on this side and fix it using the same method as we did on the hinge side. Now the door is in and it's complete, the final things are sealing it from the weather. Now, if you've got slight gaps around the edge of your frame like I have, then you can fill them with some colour matched silicone, and that way it just gives a real nice finish and prevents any weather, particularly rain, getting down the side of the frame. Now, once you've done that, there's 2 more weatherproof strips you need to apply, and they actually go inside the frame. So the first thing you've got is this here. Now, this is a thin rubber strip, and that runs around the edge of the leaf of the door. And once you've installed that, the next thing is this V-shaped seal, and that runs around the inner edge of the door frame itself. That means that when you pull the door shut, you get a really good seal all the way around and prevents any water or drafts from entering your room. I hope you found that video useful and informative, and if you are considering one of these doors, Latham's are definitely the place to go.